And we're live. Welcome, lads.
Yeah.
Mecca of Banter. We're back. I'm back. Short hiatus. Couldn't be happier to be back in the captain's seat with the boys. We've got talk shit to bang. Wait. Something like that. Chat shit, get banged. We got more of that coming. That's what it is. Couldn't get that out there. Yeah, you guys wanna check in? How's everyone doing?
Oh, fellas, good to see you all.
Yes, always good to be seen there, Dobes. I'm doing well.
No, Hafey 4 over here, inhaling and exhaling as a Chelsea fan. That's all I got to really say about that.
You're in for one.
Yeah, you're in for one. It's at Henry Wind here. I've said it before, say it again. Great week to be a United fan. It just feels great.
I liked it a lot better when you guys were bad.
I agree.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We're still not through yet, man. We're still getting there.
I say they're still in fourth.
Heading in the right direction, though.
Yeah.
Winks here, LCW21 on Twitter. Happy to be at the top of the table for yet another week.
Oof.
I hate that he gets to say that. I truly do.
So many weeks in a row now.
It's been there for a while. I'll go
many
next.
weeks in a row.
I'll go next. Sorry if I seem pissed. Georgia scored again, guys. National championship night. Your boy C-Dub's 10. United's cruising. It's great to be here. Yeah.
Great to be here.
Great to be seen. Someone said we're in it. So some of the bigger news that happened like within the last couple of hours was Gareth Bale announced his full international and club retirement same time. General thoughts from my perspective, it's tough. That's like one of the legends that you watch for a long time. Being a Spurs fan, obviously super biased. Like part of the reason that I watched the club definitely was when I watched Clint Dempsey transfer from Fulham and start bagging goals with this kid, like this fetus of a child, frankly, like kind of looked like an alien.
Small head, big ears. Small head, big ears.
Dude, those things were huge. Eventually his face grew into the ears, but he was something hot, like, and everyone was kind of taking notice. And he scored this hat trick against Inter in the Champions League away at the San Siro, and like something was different like from then on. And he kept doing it. He proved it in Real Madrid. He won everything that he couldn't win at Spurs. Over in Spain, which I am so pumped for him about, especially because things I think went sour towards the end of his career, and that always kind of sucks too. We watched Ronaldo go through some of that, but I think it's a legend of the game situation. He's young. He's going to the PGA. Like
he has to.
I was about to say we'll see him next year on the Live Tour for sure.
That's a
goal
good
number
shout,
one. 100%.
Already a scratch golfer.
Man did bag some goals in a Tottenham uniform. I will say. I was like, when it was announced or when you put it in the Mecca that he was retiring, I of course like immediately went to YouTube and was just like kind of throwing some like old Gareth Bale goals, and holy cow, did he hit some worldies.
He was a revolution. Yeah. I mean, I have like distinct memories of like that game against Inter Milan when he scored the same goal twice on the left wing, just like torching everyone, then shooting from the top of the box, like across the face of the goal. But like Butch can co-sign on this, but I was so high on Gareth Bale. Like, I mean, I'm talking like I was a huge Barcelona fan. I have a Real Madrid jersey the year that he went to Real Madrid, because I was like, I will want this for one day for my collection, because he was like that generational of the talent. Dude, I mean, like it was like their blue jersey, whatever. Doesn't matter. But I mean, I was so high on him, and I think that one of the most explosive players we've ever seen, ever. And because like Wales technically is part of like Great Britain, I think he's the greatest British player to ever play the game. Most winningest for sure, but something like Great Britain has never seen for sure.
I think he's one that, because of the drama he had at Madrid, we got robbed of like 2 or 3 more years at him at his peak. Like I think towards the end of the career there, where you saw him for whatever reason it was, whether it was him and Ancelotti or whatever it was, and he still scored big moments, but he also just like he wasn't playing. He oftentimes, sometimes wasn't even on the bench. Like I think we got robbed of 2 or 3 more good years of Bale. Funny story actually. When I think this is probably like 2011 high school days when Bale's prime Tottenham. Like I went to get my hair cut and I showed a picture of Gareth Bale when he had the line in the side of his head.
Oh,
And that's how I started to get my hair cut like this. I swear to God.
That's awesome. That's so good. Dude, yeah. What a talent. I am like, to your point, Hoover, though, like he has to be going to the PGA or the Live Tour or something, because like he still is so young. And granted, he's super injury prone, has been for a long time, but like he was still playing well at the World Cup. It wasn't like he was a nobody. And you would think like with that MLS move, that move just looks weird now. Like
he didn't even start for LAFC. Rarely.
The kid, I think this was his plan all along, and he needed 12 games that they gave him on limited minutes to be able to be at the peak of his physical ability at 33 years old for the World Cup.
Yeah.
He finished that. I think it's genius. Like the dude coasted out, got to live in Hollywood.
Did he score the goal to win?
Yeah.
He scored the goal to win the MLS Cup.
128th minute, and he played 13 games and got to lift the trophy. Like
he's an icon, man. He's an icon.
There was definitely some contract incentives in that too. Like this was pre-planned. 100%. I think the Live Tour is going to be more than happy to have him.
Yeah.
Imagine him and Bryson paired together.
Jesus.
I have a hard time imagining him paired with anybody. It's Gareth Bale, bro. Like, I was gonna say
that was one thing that like kind of shocked me was his age. Like we see a lot of some of these older guys still playing, and I completely agree. It makes sense for him to go to Live and kind of like you were saying, injury prone. Who doesn't want to play golf and just like he's probably gonna cash out, make a shit ton of money with Live, and just play golf whenever he wants.
Yeah, especially if he's good enough. You know, obviously, like,
there's some real truth. Yeah,
if he's good enough to do that, like you still get that competitive edge that like so many guys when they retire they don't have anymore. But like if you're that good to where you can be a dual sport athlete, like it's crazy.
Winks, any thoughts?
No. I like listening to you guys and all your takes, but I agree. As an Arsenal fan, I hated playing against him, but I'm sure he was one of those guys that you'd love to have on your team. And, you know, like you guys have all said, just a generational talent. I'm excited to see who the next Gareth Bale is in the United Kingdom and who that might look like. But congrats to him. Incredible career.
Dan James. Next up.
Dan James. Let's talk about it.
I think the last thing too, I'll tell you about Gareth Bale and like they won how many Champions Leagues in a row? That front three at Madrid compares to the MSG.
Everybody.
Everyone. That front three is one of the scariest of all time. Like short credit in history, like towards like end of my high school career, early, like that was a fun team to watch. Insane stuff.
They were electric.
Insane stuff.
Sad day for the sport.
But there's more legends en route. Next up, we've had a couple days since the last pod, and the last time that we did have a pod, Chelsea didn't lose twice in a row to Man City. So I think that's one thing that we needed to cover with Nikki today. And we're happy to have him. And I think there's a lot of agreed points on what's happening at Chelsea and like the things that are, issues. But I'll let you take the floor and then, they can chirp in.
Yeah. Definitely not great results. But obviously I think, we can all agree our injury list is pretty long and deep. I truly think if we had a starting 11 just based off our injury team, they would probably beat our starting team. Shout out Jake Wine, who mentioned that in the Mecca, but I truly agree with that. I mean, our injury list is scrollable. It's not good. I think our first matchup against City, we didn't look awful. It was a 1-0 loss. We had like two big, not big. I mean, Sterling injury early isn't that huge to me because I don't think he's that great. But like CP getting hurt early in that game, like we had to make 2 subs early and we still only lose 1-0 to the defending champs. Then we play them in the FA Cup and we have a bunch of youngsters and not really a lineup that we've ever seen before for Chelsea. And I mean, I turned it off after 2-0, so didn't really get to watch much after that. But I think people forget how good Man City is. Like at the end of the day, they did beat United 6-3 this year as well. So like they definitely have the ability to put a lot of goals on anyone out there. So we had a young side, and it's not great. Like I'm not happy at all, but I mean, I definitely don't. I think if we were fully healthy and we had a good side, I don't think we would have lost as bad as we would to that side in both games. But that's just kind of where I'm at. It does suck that we're in 10th. Like by no means am I happy about that again. I think one thing I will say is it's very close in like 10-6. Like if we win one game, we're in 6th. So like I'm not freaking out yet, but I mean the injury list doesn't help, and along with all the transfer rumors, I mean Enzo Fernandez deal falling through doesn't help, and now we're linked to some bunch of other people that like I'm not thrilled about. So we'll see how it goes moving forward.
You're close to signing a new starting 11 completely anyways, though.
I mean, our injury list. I mean, why? I mean, what else are we going to do?
What happens when all those guys come back, though? Like,
I know you're right.
Yeah.
People?
To be fair, I was talking with Beeg about it, who's also a Chelsea fan. He thinks we almost need a gutting. Like once those guys get healthy, there's a lot of people who are kind of on the end of their careers that just need to go. And I definitely agree with him, but I don't know if we need a full gutting. I still think.
I mean, if that's the goal to do a gutting, you're going about it the completely wrong way. You're buying more players. Like,
well, I mean,
it's kind of counterproductive.
Well, I mean, once you gut the team, you're going to have to eventually then buy pplayers. So, I mean,
dude,
I don't know.
I'm sitting here so envious of the entire situation. Like he's got a full starting 11 that's hurt, and his owner's just going to buy more players. Yeah. Like at some point, and actually, Nick, I wanted to ask you, what are some of those guys that you would take off? Because I could name a couple, but like there's some guys that have been at Chelsea for a long time, and there's some guys that maybe also haven't fit in. Where are you trimming the fat?
Yeah, I think the Enzo signing for me was huge because I really do think Conte and Jorginho, like credit to them, the years that they've put in at Chelsea, like they put in shifts. I think they're kind of on the end of their careers and they probably need to go and we need to focus on someone else. And like Thiago Silva, I hate to say it, like how long can he be a top 3 center back in the Prem? Like he's a Rolls Royce and I think he's so quality, but like he's getting old. So we're going to need someone in the center back position to step up and start playing well. I mean, Azpilicueta right now, he's our starting right back with Reece James consistently being injured. So like, that's another person that we're going to need to like fill out and get rid of. I mean, Aubameyang, I never liked that signing in the first place. Like he needs to go. I also don't like Sterling, but like, that's just my opinion. I don't think Sterling's going to leave, but that's another person I would get rid of. I definitely think if you look at our youngsters in our center midfield, I know you guys are going to say differently, but like I think Mason Mount's quality. I think Kai Havertz is quality. I think Gallagher has the potential. I think Reece James is the best right back. I think Chilwell is a insane left back. We haven't seen him much since Cucurella. But yeah, I definitely think.
By the way, is Chilwell healthy?
Chilwell is not healthy yet. He's still injured. He's another one on that injury list that like I really wish.
I think the thing that's like kind of mind blowing with me is like you're making signings before like Potter's even seen what he has.
I know.
Like he hasn't seen like Chelsea at its best, as you're saying, even though Mount's still playing, Havertz is still playing, all those guys are still playing, and they've won 1 in their last 8.
Listed 2 guys out of 11.
I just think it's tough. Like, what is the positive from the season at this point? And you say the injury list, but like, that's a reality. Like, that's not. There's nobody.
We still have a lot of games left.
That's what I'm saying. But like, it's like you're still injured, so it's like you can't afford to drop a single game. Like that's the thing. It's like, where does the positive come from Chelsea? Because it's like you just got knocked out of that what is it, FA Cup?
Yep.
Like Champions League, maybe. I think injury list, the Champions League is a long shot. Like I think what's the like what's the next step to build? Because I think the thing about Chelsea is you're so right. The injury list is long. That's a great excuse. I think where Potter deserves a little criticism is like the mentality and like the energy that the players that are playing are showing. It's like abysmal. Like I think whether it's youth, whether it's like starters, it's like there's no plan, there's no setup. And I think that like yes, Potter deserves time. None of this is on him. He deserves a full preseason. He deserves a transfer window. He deserves his full squad. He walked into a shit situation. But at the same time, like
when does he start?
We got to see something.
Yeah,
I
Like,
agree.
we got to
No,
see something.
I
And it's
completely
just
agree
been-
with you.
Yeah, we
Well,
got to see
watching-
energy. We got to see fight. Like when you're down to Man City, no matter if you're a youth player, no matter if you're
Yep.
like, you got to show something. Typically, you do that for the manager.
Yeah, and what was interesting, Nikki, was like watching the Chelsea City game was it looked so familiar of United last year. Like I think that was
Identical.
Yeah, and like Dobes, you hit it spot on of just like the energy being abysmal. But what was so different, is like you have one extreme of that. You watch like these guys have no fight. No one knows what they're doing. But then you have the other extreme where you're buying all of these players. And I think that that's where the criticism comes in so much for me was like last year watching United, like the Glazers, like we've gone on and on about them. We don't need to go about them too much, but like refusing to spend money in January, saying that they're going to like spend a bunch of money in the summer, like they do every year. No fight, no anything. And we were just bad. But like then watching Chelsea also have no fight, but bringing in all these guys, it's really hard to like make sense of that as a non-fan, but seeing like that familiar lack of fight, it's just where I'm getting critical. And I think the signings that you all have been making, we've said it for weeks now, they feel so random. And we haven't mentioned João Felix yet, but the report today was that a deal has been agreed, or a verbal deal has been agreed for João Felix.
I don't believe any reports anymore. So
Yeah,
kind of same, but it was David Ornstein, which I'm like,
and that was what I was gonna
Yeah.
get. That was gonna be my
It's
next thing. Is
Ornstein.
like
Ornstein's legit.
we are linked with a lot of people, and by no means am I like very happy with that. Like I think JP had a very good point in the Mecca a couple of days ago. He was saying that like it almost makes us look desperate, like we're just trying to grab anyone right now.
Well, the thing is that's weird
but
about
it's just
like
it could be a lot of rumors. Like Enzo just fell. Like what? Like who even knows if that was really true? Like I have no idea. I really don't. Until I see them in a
side.
Until I see them in a jersey, like that's until I like that's when I'm like, okay, we signed them.
That's probably a good like mentality to have, to just like protect yourself, But the thing that killed me today was that Ornstein's tweet today said that João Felix believes in the sporting project at Chelsea more, and
in 10th.
Yeah, everyone's like, what sporting project? Like if you really want to,
he's like cap tied or whatever you call it for the Champions League. Like even if you were to sign him because he's played with Atletico in the Champions League, I'm pretty sure he can't play for Chelsea in the Champions League.
Interesting.
That is definitely interesting.
I don't know if it ends after the group stage though. There is some rule like that to where I know that you get like team tied in the Champions League.
The João Felix signing for me, I don't mind it, but like, am I like super thrilled? No. Like, I think since he's on loan and I think it's only 11 mil, like, I think business wise, it's not bad. Like,
his wages are a shit ton though.
Bro, it's gonna be like
it's like 375 a week, I think is what he's on.
Yeah, and Chelsea's paying all of it, and it's like a $12 million loan fee. So all in, you're paying like 18 mil for 6 months with no
what is money anymore?
I know, no opportunity to buy and no like buy clause. So you're just throwing 20 million at Atletico for like a guy that may or may not even get you top 4. It's a bonkers decision. And like
could be a Champions League type thing. Well, Dobes brings up a good point if he's even able to play.
Don't quote me on that. I think that is a thing though, because I'm pretty sure we signed somebody a few years ago.
I don't think he can play against them, but I think he can still play in the Champions League.
We'd have to look up what the rule is because it might be the group stage. Like if you've played in the knockouts, you might not be able to, but in the group stage, you may be able to.
Yeah. The reason why I'm not super thrilled on it is you guys know this. I think Kai Havertz is quality, and I think João Felix plays the role that I've been wanting Kai Havertz to play for a very long time. So I think it almost locks Kai in that striker position where I don't think is his best position.
So weird to me, man.
I
weird.
agree.
Weird,
I agree. That's why, like, the Enzo signing's honestly been the only one that I've been super excited for. And to be fair, when I first saw it, I thought it was BS. So like, I was like, how on earth are we getting him? Because he was one of the best players in the World Cup, and by all means, I would take him.
Yeah. We you mentioned earlier, Nick, that you guys threw out like a really young lineup. I crunched the numbers, and you may not like this, but
okay, Azpilicueta. Okay,
well, the thing is City's
Kovacic.
starting lineup average an age of 25, and Chelsea's was 24, and so
look how many teenagers played though. We had 5, they had 1.
But then they had like
we had
2 guys that were 20.
on, we had
Like-
Aubameyang on, we had Sterling on, who are old as shit, dude.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just
and-
saying too.
Okay, but there's another thing too. I think City's got a crazy deep academy in their own rights. Like that Phillips kid. What was it, Lewis Phillips or Philip Lewis? He played on the left, but he just kept coming inside. On City.
Rico Lewis or whatever.
Rico Lewis, maybe.
Yeah, dude.
He like
What a
where did this
signing.
kid come from?
What a
bro?
signing.
Like
They were
that-
that's like one thing I noticed is they were talking about it. Who else did they just sign? Oh my gosh,
just
in the
I'm
summer?
blanking on.
They find
No.
gems.
Yeah, they were just talking about how like he's the Rico Lewis guy is going to perfectly replace Cancelo, and then
Oh yeah.
who was going to replace Rodri? Who did they just sign? Or not sign, but they were talking about some youngster. I forgot who it was, but anyway, like they just find guys just to fit right into their system, and that goes back to what we were talking about in the Mecca and how I gave JP a good shout out, where the signings are more important about fit than they are.
So João could play. It says since 2018, 2019, it no longer matters when they're signed as long as they're registered before February 2nd.
See, now that kind of makes sense to me because
Yeah.
we need someone. Like our injury list is so long. We need. I bet you he's throwing it all in for the Champions League, and it's going to be like, João, hopefully you ball out for us, and we go pretty far.
What's
Are you,
funny is, like, Aubameyang is like, I know you're a Mount truther. I just think that Kai Havertz would be a better 10 than even Mount would. Like I just think
I would
that's a
take
fact.
Kai to 10 over Mount, but I wouldn't have Mount off the field. I would want him to play like a box to box 8. I think it was funny. I wanted to bring it up. Henry, I agree with you in the second City game. The work rate and the effort was not there by any means. Once again, I think that has to do with like a lineup that we've never seen before. Like those guys probably have never played before as that 11 ever. And so the only thing I was going to say is like Mount, that's what he brings. Every single game, Mason Mount works his ass off and brings that fire. So he reminds me, and it's funny. I didn't never like the guy, but like Jordan Henderson for Liverpool, that's what I think of like Mason Mount. Like he not only does he have the quality, but the work rate.
Bro, you should have given him somebody else besides Jordan.
Yeah, bro. I'm talking about like locker room wise. I'm not talking quality.
You just gave him.
not
You
talking
just
about
put
that.
him. You just said, you know what, Mason?
No.
You are mid.
Flip it.
Oh man!
I said
Flip
locker
it.
room, bringing the energy and like that work rate that Henry was saying we don't have. Like I still think it's there, so that's why I'm not like freaking out like Henry thinks I should be. But like I there's still bits and pieces of our team that I appreciate the work rate.
Yeah, the last
It
my
might
last
happen
last
for
Chelsea
you all. It
point
might
is
not.
what is up with Koulibaly?
We can run the podcast back. because
Low key, I wanted him
called it.
to. I wanted him to sign for United like over the summer last year, and like watching him play this weekend, like,
He's
and I mean,
not-
he was just like passing the ball directly out of bounds.
Well, so here's
Like,
I
literally
literally
directly out of bounds.
when we signed him, this is exactly what I said. I think it was literally on the pod. When we signed him, Thiago Silva had the most passes out of our entire team at center back. Koulibaly was coming from a side where they were not possessing out of the back as much as Chelsea was, and he was a tackler, big body in the box. And when we signed him, I literally said, in possession, he is going to be a problem, and it is not going to work out well for us. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Yeah,
Like,
and I thought you were
Tuitti.
capping. I thought that he was going to do great at
No.
Chelsea, and I've been so wrong.
I
looking
don't
at it,
trust
it's
his
like-
feet when he doesn't know what to do with the ball. And that's like, and especially on our team, like especially with Chelsea, like that's majority of our game is our defense possessing. And once we turn the ball over from a defensive side, like as a defender, like that's where our counterattacks happen most of the time. And I just, from the beginning, I wasn't heavy on him. I mean, he's great in the air and he can score a worldie every once in a while, but like shit.
He's second in the ratings from the game yesterday at 5.6. The worst is Havertz at a 5.4.
Oh, that's tough.
right, can we move on?
I was getting ready to say we can move on from there.
Yeah. We'll spin this one
sweating.
up. We had a couple FA fixtures that I think we can hit on. We're still in the fourth round, fifth round of the FA Cup. The ties just got announced. Short takeaways from everyone. Arsenal played today. Winks, you want to hit it?
Happily, yeah. We face a tough
Happily.
team today in League One, Oxford. Sported our No More Red kits in support of tackling the root causes of youth violence and trying to find a safe place for young people. And I think that was pretty cool. The kits were beautiful.
Puts a
Outlined,
clean.
yeah.
I like those cleats or those kits a lot. Those were sick.
Badge was outlined in black, but besides that, whited out, and that was neat. Honestly, the first half, I know you guys said earlier that a lot of you didn't even know Arsenal was playing today, and it was probably
No
because
idea.
of who we were playing, which is okay. But the first half was super boring and flat all the way around on both sides. But El Neni opened the floodgates in like the 60th minute, 65th minute in the second half. Nketiah bagged 2, which was good to see. And again, I know we played Oxford, but that makes Nketiah our co-top goal scorer in all competitions this season.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
Whoa.
And granted, most of his minutes come in Europa League and FA Cup, but as our current replacement for
Still
Gabby
doing
Jesus,
it.
yeah, bro. Like it's just good to see him convert. And I'll say it every podcast until we sign somebody that starts over him, but I hope he keeps surprising us.
Of course.
I think that's exactly what you need in an unexpected replacement for a player like Gabby Jesus. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's actually 100% surprised me. I did not expect it.
Who did you
I was
guys
seeing it from the
draw?
beginning. Once he was gone, I thought they would
City.
not do well.
At the Etihad, I think it's away even.
That's juicy.
So, and I need to check the schedule on what comes first, but if we play them in the FA Cup before we play them in the Prem, that'll be the first time Arsenal plays City this season, because we were supposed to play them in the first half. And
so
it got
you guys play them twice in the Prem?
Huh?
You guys play them twice still in the Prem?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh my.
Yeah, so those will be juicy. And hence why, assigning in that position for us is going to be so crucial. And obviously it was sad to hear that we wouldn't be getting Zhao, but I think that means foot on the gas to get Mudryk. But we shall see.
Maybe we buy that one too.
That would be so nuts if Chelsea does that. That'd be so crazy.
Bully reads like the transfer news and just like picks a name out of a hat. It's like, I like that guy.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about this guy. Let's get him.
Yeah, exactly.
Nick's like,
United beat Everton 3-1. Update: Everton sucks.
Bad.
They're buns, man.
they may lose to Oxford.
Hey, go in, Hoove. Talk trash.
I don't have much to say. I don't think Frank's that great of a coach. But we've
chill.
he didn't do well at your
terrible.
club, so
Defend him, Nick.
He got sacked.
yeah.
Old Trafford was singing "You're getting sacked in the morning" during that game too, bro.
I will not defend him that much. All I have to say was
Everton's injury list is scrollable.
no. The side that won the Champions League for Chelsea was rooted with Frank signings. That's all I got to say.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyway,
Now is he a great coach? I don't know.
Everton, you guys can take it, but there's not a whole lot of about Everton that impresses me other than Damari Gray's slick. Their team's not that great. They're with a mid coach. I think, that's
Does he get
that's the
sacked, do you
moral.
think?
I
Yeah.
think he's
Oh,
got
yeah.
a couple
Soon.
games
Soon,
tops.
maybe.
Yeah.
Like they have to
Yeah.
win their next game, or he's probably
Uh,
done.
Yeah.
For me,
The
go
other thing
ahead,
I'll say
Hen.
about Everton is I love Onana in the middle. This is a center
Yes.
midfielder, dude.
He's a
is,
proper box to box midfielder.
and he's huge.
Yeah.
Like when
Him
he
and-
picks his stride, it's crazy.
Him and Holland were like when they were, I think they played last weekend, and when they were going up against each other, it was fun to watch. And I think Holland even like showed him some respect because he like saw that he wasn't that bad of a player. Like I saw
Yeah.
them like bantering and like chatting a little bit. So like,
Yeah.
he definitely
When they had that
liked
like
him as well.
13-minute delay, like in the
Yes.
second half.
Yeah.
'Cause of
Oh
the-
my.
yeah.
Lord.
But Dubs, you wanna talk about United?
Sure. I mean, I think it's from as bad as Everton are. I think it's exactly what we expected. I mean, I don't think we looked at like wasn't free flowing football. I mean, we scored Rashford's goal that I guess assisted off Cody. He made that guy look stupid. But I think we're in a good spot right now. I think we're finally at a spot where it's like this is exactly what we expected. I think we're at a point where we have the fixture congestion that's coming up. Like we got good squad rotation. Erickson got some rest. We have a midweek game to where we'll probably see an entire different squad. No Casemiro, no Bruno, none of the starters. So we're at a good spot right now to where I think going into the City game, like Lissandro hasn't played. Ten Hag's let him rest to come back fully healthy. Like I think we're in a pretty good spot. As long as we can stay healthy, I like where we're at. I don't have too much from that game other than I thought it was cool that at the very end of the game, Rashford had a chance to tie Rooney's record for most consecutive goals at Old Trafford in a row, or most consecutive games with a goal at Old Trafford in a row. And Bruno gave him that pen at the end because Bruno always hits our pens, and he gave Rashford that pen in the 90th minute to let him tie Rooney. So I thought that was cool. But all good things from United at the moment, boys. All good things.
Yeah, and something that we're seeing, from Ten Hag is that he's here to win trophies. He is rotating where he needs to, but we're still in, three competitions. I don't think that we're in a spot to make like a title chase in the Premier League, but we're in three competitions that we're looking pretty good and looking pretty strong. Obviously, Barcelona in February is going to be tough. That is going to be really tough.
What title are you chasing?
I was
bro?
gonna say, what title
What
do you guys think
title?
you're winning?
Europa League, FA Cup.
Europa League, FA Cup, and
EFL
EFL
Cup?
Cup.
You guys think you guys really think you guys are gonna win this?
No, I
think
thought you were
we
just.
have the best shot of anybody in the Europa League. I think we have the best shot of anybody in all the competitions. I don't think anybody's
current
favorite.
form. It's hard to knock.
We've won
them
8 games in a row.
competing for anything outside the
Yeah,
Prem.
and
last
other
I
unbeaten
don't
in
see you guys
7.
having a trophy at the end of the season. That's why I was confused why you guys were
I
saying
don't.
title
I
chase.
thought you were talking about title
Nick's
chasing in the
butthurt.
Prem.
Oh,
I
no,
was
no,
like,
no,
no.
what
No.
fucking
No,
world?
No, we're too far off of that.
No,
but,
I can give United an edge in the Europa. I
Yeah,
don't
the
think there's
Europa.
many other teams that are playing as well as them, and any other cup competition you're going to run
It's
into.
like
a
if we
City or
keep
something
getting
like that, but-
favorable draws, like which we have for the first time in a few years, like we keep getting favorable draws, like we could easily win the FA Cup or the Carabao. Like we're one
Yeah.
game, I'll take us against City to beat them.
which is good. Obviously it's not like the trophies we want to be winning, but Ten Hag coming in and winning a trophy first season would be great.
I'm saying, if you guys don't win one, would you guys be like mad or like would you?
I think
think
it
so.
depends. If we
lost?
stay
Okay.
healthy, I'd be mad. If we stay
Yeah,
healthy, I'd be
and
mad.
I think with the form that
Oh my
we're
God.
in right now, I think that I wouldn't be happy with it. But also wanting to win games, starting Luke Shaw in the center back over Harry Maguire. I love to see it. Ten Hag's ruthless. And then Dobes, you gave him props, but I'll do it again. Rashford's looking awesome. He was undeniably the man of the match of that game. He just put everyone on skates every time he touched the ball. It was great to see. De Gea had a shocker. Just like
Bro, he's like Hugo. He's
He
got one
always
of those.
has a
He's got
shocker.
one of those in him. It's like everybody was so jacked up about De Gea these last couple months because he's been great. He's been amazing. He's been one of our best, most consistent players. And then it's like, it looked like a 7-year-old playing like in the schoolyard, just letting it go through his legs. He could never play goalie before. Like literally,
Has
it was
it
that
brain just
fucking
turned up.
bad.
So off.
When
Yes.
I'm watching other teams play that don't include Arsenal, I very rarely will like actually say something not in my head, and I physically laughed very hard when that happened.
It literally was just a what the fuck moment. Like I had no words. It's just like
Yeah.
His brain
I-
turned off for a second.
Yeah, I thought that it was like a joke somehow. I was like, did that actually just happen? That was so weird. If you haven't seen the goal, go back and watch it. It was a shocker. But moving on to the next round, feel really good about it.
You just can't turn off against a team like Everton, though, man.
Hey man,
Hey,
scary
dangerous.
side.
What's next? So I heard there was a nail biter a few days ago.
Yeah, we can glance on that. Moral of the story
Portsmouth.
is
Portsmouth,
Spurs update. Spurs would be a mid-table team without Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. So, that's some of the truth. Some of the players that we employ on the wings are League One players.
it's a funny way to say it, but it's true.
I know.
They're paying
That's
a couple
just
of
the
these
state that he's at.
guys. A couple of these cats are frauds, just straight up fraudulent footballers that I don't know how made the team, but here we are.
Hey, I
Emerson
got some
Royale's
frauds
playing.
on my side too, Hoover. I feel it.
So it was
Jason
it
Mount.
was a truthful nail biter. Yeah, I don't feel great about anything, but that's more or less how this whole fandom goes. Kulusevski and Richarlison being back on the team gives Spurs an opportunity to not look like fools on Sunday. So
100%.
I think
Is Richie
those-
playing?
I don't know. Nobody knows anything. Apparently, they need to fire whoever the
Or
injury staff is.
Kulusevski?
We don't know. Nobody knows. Conte doesn't
Interesting.
know. Conte thought he was going to be back for Crystal Palace, which we didn't hit on 4-0, big jump. But he literally said in his post-game interview, he's like, I don't know when Decky's going to be back. I was told he was going to be back today, and then this morning they told me he wasn't going to be back. So that sucks. You're talking to Antonio Conte. You might want to know when your players going to be ready.
It's gonna be tough for you to make a prediction when we record for the North London derby later this week.
100%.
You don't know
100%.
what. Yeah.
No, I have no idea.
Result,
I think
I imagine won't be that different.
no,
But
couple goals, maybe 1 or 2 on our side. I like that it's at home. We're not going to get into the derby, but
I want to shout out Kane though, because I just think that if he wouldn't have missed that pen, and if Haaland wasn't an alien, the
Yeah.
season that Harry Kane is having is unbelievable. And I think
Are you-
he's still one of the top, if not the top, all around number 9 in the world.
I feel
Are you
so
talking
bad
him up
for
so highly because he's going to come to United in the summer? Is that why you're trying to get it on
Oh.
record now?
We're going to talk about it when we get the transfers in. Let's save that for a little later. But I think I've always been a Harry Kane truther, and I just think that because of Haaland and because of the missed pen and all that, the hate he's gotten, he's getting overlooked, but he's having an absolute incredible season, and he's just gotten better and better as he's gotten older. Because in my opinion, I'd take a striker like him over Haaland any day.
yeah,
That's a big statement.
That's
I think I would too. No, I think
100%
Erling. Look at who Harry Kane's played around for his entire
works.
career.
Yeah, Haaland works as efficient as he does in a City team. I think Harry
And-
Kane would bring those goals and more to a City team.
The same. You're looking at similar setups of the teams he's played on too. Like Dortmund was built. That was a
I think
built
if you put-
team.
I think if you put Holland on Spurs, he would do better than what Harry Kane's doing.
No,
I think
because
you're
because Kane drops.
I think he would
Kane-
take more people on, and he would. Oh,
Kane
No, I think
drops
he's
deep.
drunk.
Kane
Oh.
drops deep and plays like a 6. Kane drops deep and plays like an 8 and pings a pass over the top. He's got it all.
Am I-
He reminds
Am
me
I
of modern
tripping,
day
or
Rooney.
was it last year or the year before that City was close to signing
They-
Harry
they
Kane?
were-
That
they-
happened,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
Very
not saying
close.
I'm not saying Haaland's not a freak, but my ideal number 9, who's my favorite player of all time, is Rooney, who dropped in and played like a 6, dropped in and played an 8, can pick a pass, had work rate both sides of the ball. Haaland's best finisher in the world, but other than that, that's what Haaland is. He's a finisher.
Yeah.
He makes good runs
yeah.
and he finishes. That's Haaland.
I agree with you that Kane's like a perfect
All around
picture
number
perfect.
9.
I agree, but what I'm saying is, if you had the option of Erling Haaland or Harry Kane on your team, you're taking Haaland. We're not
I think
disregarding
I'd probably
that.
take Kane.
That'd
Unless,
be an
un-
insane
unless,
Twitter,
I, unless,
Twitter
unless I
poll.
had City's wingers.
Yeah, literally,
Unless I had
dude.
City's wingers.
And
And
Harry Kane
Kevin De Bruyne.
Harry Kane's dude, he's
Like,
never been a target man in his life. He's never been the guy that you're just lobbing crosses up to. He wants on the ball and he knows what to do with it when he gets it. Erling Haaland's not like building up play the way that Harry Kane can build up play on some of these sides. But no, I'm not denying Haaland either. The kid's a goal scoring freak, but it's hard to pinpoint the team. It's hard to cross teams like that. We're fucking talking about Højbjerg and Oliver Skip in the middle here, passing balls onto the wing to Emerson Royale and Matt Doherty. So, I want Harry Kane because I need him.
I was about to say, I'm sorry, but like I feel so bad for Harry Kane. Like the man deserves a trophy.
Oh, dude, there's a small weird what's it called? What are the kids called?
I'm like chomping at the bit here.
Yeah, Dobes is dying.
There's a small piece of empathy in my body that wants him to leave and not at all go to United. Fuck off. I would love for him to go.
I'm just gonna give you a comparison here real quick. Robin van Persie, age 29, with a very good Arsenal team, never won anything. Leaves and joins United, wins a title. Harry Kane, age 29. Lines up perfectly to come take us over the top and lead us to a title.
Come
What would
on,
you
Harry.
do if next year, the very next season, Harry Kane is sitting there in a United kit with the trophy over his head?
And imagine the absolute scenes when one Harry leaves, and the other Harry comes in. Like, just great marketing all around.
It would be another Tottenham meme to add to the bank.
Love how Wings is piling on.
No comment.
Word.
Word. Yeah. That'd be dope. That'd be sweet. Yeah, so we've already talked a shit ton about transfers, so let's just hop back into that. We've got Mudryk, this kid with God is love on his neck, going to Arsenal, maybe because they value him at 100 million. United gets clickbait about every other player in the world, so you guys may find some validity there. Tottenham has their hands in their pockets and not willing to pull them out. Pedro Porro is about the only kid that I've heard that they may pay a release clause for our 7th wing back in 2 years. Chelsea's going to buy everyone. So,
Yo, the Pedro Porro thing would be nuts because you guys know the backstory with Pedro Porro and João Felix, right?
I can't say I
do.
No, sir.
João Felix had been dating this girl for like a while since Benfica.
I didn't know
and then cheated on him with Pedro Porro. And so if Arsenal signs João Felix and Tottenham signs Pedro Porro, the North London derby would be lit.
João got back with her. I'm pretty sure João's still with her.
Oh, word.
Because I saw it posted on Instagram somewhere.
That's my link. That's my Tottenham transfer link, baby.
Yeah, dude. You want to talk transfers? Want to get into it?
8th, we've got 4 right backs that none of them are good. Other than when we put even Perisic on the right, because he's still a better right back than the rest of the guys they bought. Jed Spence isn't getting a run. I've seen that he might get loaned. Great, do it. Get this kid some freaking minutes. But there's that's what I'm saying. Everyone, there's a lot of teams that would. Even if he would just play cup competitions and sparingly, off the bench, like there's a lot of teams that would take that kid. But that's it. Spurs have no other, there's no connections. We don't have, they may pull off a weird deal or two for some kid from Celtic for 10 million and no one, knows anything. But that's how it operates. Conte's already said that his vision and the club's vision aren't the same, which is great because that's another coach in the last 7 years. So, take it away. You guys all have way better and more firm links to transfers. I'll let you pipe in.
Real quick before we go to transfers, that comment gives me a little thought. Does Spurs fan base have the pull to say Levy out?
It's gonna have to get more violent because
Okay.
that's what it is. The general
Yeah.
80% of the Spurs fandom and the only 20% that wants them in were the old geezers who saw how shitty the club was in like the 60s to 80s. So now it's like, to dare is to do is the club's motto. Nobody's daring to do shit. They built a huge stadium. They built state-of-the-art facilities. They brought in a world-class coach. They have some of the best players in the world. There's unbelievable talent on the field. And then they don't do anything with it. Like if we were going to be mid-table, we were going to be mid-table. That's fine. And accept that, whatever. You're putting yourself on this pedestal to be this club that you say you are, daring to do things. And they've got everything in place. They've got everything in place, and they're not going through with it. They're making deals with the NFL for NFL games.
Say his pockets dry.
I don't know. Like, they've had to do a ton to recoup from the stadium, and I've read, there's been so much financial stuff about it. There's a good chance he's broke, but
Harry Kane would help, man.
Harry Kane wouldn't even scratch the surface. These guys won't even sell the stadium naming rights for for anything. They've been sitting on Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for 3 years, and it's like, make the bag, do something. So I think it's weird. They're setting themselves up. There's a good route for Spurs to be this team that competes for things, and then they let things like January slip, and coaches leave pissed because the way that they're treated and not the way that they said that they were going to be treated when they were hired. There's a culture issue up top. That's the deepest dive you guys could get me to go to, because it's so much deeper than the players or Conte or the backroom staff or the youth. They have a great youth program. They've got unbelievable. Yaya Toure is our U21 coach or something. Like, there's so
That's
much
sick.
good. There's so many positive things in this, and then we don't buy players and produce, and then people get mad, and then doesn't matter. They're filling their pockets. Like,
been there, man. I get it. Been there.
That's all I've ever seen.
Yeah. Who wants to go on transfers? Dobes, you want to light it up?
A Harry Potter character. Weghorst. I truthfully, is that it? Like, am I saying that correctly, Hen?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Found out about this guy the other day. Guess he's going to be our new number 9 here pretty soon. He's 6'6". He's big dude.
You saw him in the World Cup, right? He scored the 2 goals late.
Yes, yeah. I did. It's not like I just knew his name.
He's good, man.
Dumb, tall Dutch dude. That's what I'm saying. It's like I've watched some highlight tapes over the last couple of days, and he looks like he's a decent player. I mean, all the stats I've seen, that when he was in the Prem, he led the entire Prem in amount of times he pressed, which is a Ten Hag mold. Ten Hag, what he wants in a striker. I think he gives us a little bit something different. He's a switch up from Martial. And I also think if you sort of look at all of the strikers that Ten Hag has had in the past at his Ajax teams, he's always had a big target, hold up play guy that can play intricate passes, that's good in the air. And so I think him and Martial can provide balance. Two completely different players. But I think we missed that aerial threat. We got Luke Shaw, we got, Delo on the other side who can whip these crosses in to somebody that's 6'6". So I think it adds a different dynamic. I mean, I think the downside to me is a little bit of when he was in the Prem with Burnley, like, he wasn't great. Like, he had like 2 goals. So I think let's just trust Ten Hag. I mean, we're currently like poor as shit until we get new owners. So, I mean, it's just trust Ten Hag and hope that it helps us, because I don't really have anything else for
I was going to ask, as far as your guys' like selling of the club, have you guys heard anything on like who's in the lead, or is there any crazy bids?
Dubai, like Saudi Arabia. There was a rumored picture of a meeting that Richard Arnold was at, our CEO, and it was with like a Saudi Arabia on the front of the United kit. So I know they're having meetings.
It's going to be someone huge is what's so shitty about it. It's just as the sports business major in me realizes how big the brand Manchester United is, and like someone big is going to buy that. Like someone
has to.
Has to.
I think I do think that getting bought and then like finishing top 4, which I think it's like we're not helping ourselves right now because the thing about we know I don't want to get into it, but the Glazers don't care who buys Man United. They don't give a fuck. They're going to sell it to the highest bidder. So that could be the wrong person. But I think what's key is the fact if we don't finish top 4, it hinders our ability to bring in the players that Ten Hag needs to be, or we're still going to be in the same exact spot that we're in next year.
Yep. 100%.
But yeah, Harry Potter character. Let's go.
Wout Weghorst. I'm hopeful.
Winks.
Yeah. We touched on it earlier. Had João Felix taken from underneath us by Chelsea. That's what happens when Kroenke sits on his hands.
God, I hate him.
Meanwhile, he's at his own SoFi Stadium watching the national championship game, so hoping he uses some of the money he makes from tonight to purchase somebody.
That'd be nuts.
Not gonna hold
that
my
won't
breath.
happen.
I feel like you
Not
guys
gonna hold
have
my
money
breath.
to spend based off of who you're looking at. Like, I feel like you guys can spend here in January. I just don't know if you're going to drop that.
Yeah. So that's
hefty fee.
that's the tough part is when you look at the talent pool at that position and you're looking for a certain type of player to fit a certain type of system, do you kind of like downgrade to take somebody who might not fit your system for the sake of saving some money, or do you overpay on a young kid that has some proven
who
success
Arteta wants.
on a not crazy
Yeah.
good team in the Champions League? It's a tough situation, and like you can make an argument for either way, but at the end of the day, we need somebody to fill that role. And so I'm assuming we're just gonna give this guy a payday and sign Modric. We've been linked with Tielemans for a while too, but the more that I read about that, it sounds like we're not going to make a move for him in the January transfer window, and when his contract is up this summer, we'll try and get him on a free transfer.
I can't believe nobody snagged him because
I
he's
can't
cheap.
I
and I
was
think
about to
he's
say, I've
good.
always thought he was really good.
Yeah, he's so fun to watch. So I hope that one doesn't bite us in the ass by waiting till the summer to try and, most likely get in a dogfight with some teams over picking him up. But I think that those are the two guys we need off the top of my head, and Tielemans would provide some much needed depth in the midfield, and I think he's one of the more versatile options in the midfield position that are out there right now. He's played a box-to-box role, more of an active creator role, as well as holding mid, which is probably more what he would play for us. But yeah, we'll see how much we end up spending on this kid. I hope it's worth it, and I trust that the Arsenal front office are doing their due diligence to vet out these decisions. But I hope we don't sit there too long and question ourselves before,
Hey, I feel like this is it's like a title winning decision right here. And I mean that in like, not saying that he's going to come in and like light it up and be the difference, but like just for rotation and
For
just
depth,
like, if you guys can stay healthy, like I think it helps, but like one injury to like Saka, you need like,
right. So as a manager in this position, right, we've probably all played, Football Manager on FIFA and so on and so forth. But if you have the opportunity to win a title and you're really contending for it, especially one as coveted as the Premier League trophy, how do you not overspend on something that you need so badly, right? Versus
5 points clear too.
I think my thought, and I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. And January is the one where you're sitting in top, of the league.
What'd you say? You cut out.
Sorry. You're top of the league, and January is a weird one. You fucker.
One more time. Hoover.
Walk
I'll
right
eat
into
that.
one.
I'll eat that. That's all right. Nick.
As Butch would say, clip it.
Yep. Clip it. You can keep that.
Wings is dying.
My point doesn't matter anymore, frankly. So I wouldn't buy some, untested kid to the Premier League. I'd buy a veteran who knows how to win. But if you're gonna spend
That's what
100
we did
million,
when we signed
spend
Gabby
100
Avery,
million.
brother.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
Don't know
funny.
much about him. I didn't see him at the World Cup. How'd he play?
Mike drop.
There you go. Hooper's getting like deep now. He's really
It's
getting
banter,
into it.
buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Dobes, I feel like every time we talk about transfers, Dobes always like brings up this point, and he's saying like if it's who Arteta wants, you go out and get him. He says the same thing about Ten Hag.
It's because it's the
I'm
right
not-
player.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Potter's calling the shots at Chelsea. Otherwise, you'd question Potter's philosophy on scouting players. But if that's who Arteta wants, man, you go out and get him, whatever it takes. I just think that like it is funny how like certain transfers have like butterfly effects of other transfers, and like Dobes I think said it last time, but we really fucked you over on that one with the Anthony signing, man. If Anthony didn't go for what 90 million, there's no way that moves
He just
going for
reset the
100.
winger market. He just reset.
Yeah,
the
sorry,
winger
buddy. Yeah, that's our bet on that. That's our bet.
And even he didn't start out as a 9,500 mil player. Like whenever
We
rumors
just
first
have
came
a
up
bunch
about
of
him,
dumbasses
yeah,
running
it
our
was
front
like
office.
70, I think, which was
It was
obviously
less
Yeah,
than
he
that.
didn't have
it was
to
like
be.
It was like 50 to 60 at the beginning of the summer.
exactly.
It's we could have gotten him for 50 and we just didn't. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know if we have any more transfer roundup, to be honest with you.
It's taking a turn south for the Spurs fans over here.
Signings, I think are going to make or break this second half of the season, though.
Yep.
I truly do. I think
For
it's
for
one of
like
those where
a
for
lot
all
of
of
teams.
us, January. I feel like
for those
January is
teams that
more
aren't
important.
super deep or injury prone. Yeah, I think
Yep.
that
January is
doesn't
more
really need to
important now
sign
than ever.
anybody.
Mm-hmm.
The World Cup's throwing a wrench in all of it because there's like
Yeah.
the time off and the injuries that have happened and come from it. Like it's thrown. January is more important this year than it's been in forever.
And
Yep,
we talked about
very
that
true.
on the first episode of season 2, how much of an influence having a World Cup in the desert in the middle of the season was going to play in this.
Bullshit. How much bullshit it is that.
And now we're seeing
that
it.
happened. Absolutely. My injury list. Fucking Christ.
There it is again. You and me both, brother. Just happens to be two of our most important
It's
players.
long. It's long. All right. We have a factor cap for the boys.
Had
Everyone
somebody come
loves
up
it.
with one? I think we do a different one.
Okay, I got it. I got one fresh
You
off the
got one?
dome. It's funny. I was actually thinking about it just literally a second ago. I know we didn't really, and it's also interesting because we don't have someone to represent this club, so I feel like we don't have to talk about them at all. But do you think factor cap, if City doesn't win the Champions League, Pep is sacked?
Cap, I think he walks away. I don't think he gets sacked.
Damn. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it's cap 2 partially because I mean that's their golden child, right? The thing they haven't done. I don't know, man. I think that team's deep and it's got his fingerprints all over it. He's comfortable.
I'm
There's
gonna
a lot in
say
place.
So one thing I'm
It's-
going to add, the only reason I kind of brought this up was because my one of my managers at work is a huge City fan, and he was saying that Prem doesn't matter. They don't win the Champions League. Like, get rid of them. Like, he was dead serious too, and he's like, that's how the City mindset is right now. And I was just like,
Was he a
sheesh.
fan before 2011?
Yeah,
He says.
I'm going cap because I mean, for one, Pep just signed a new contract in November to
Yeah.
2025. So I think why would you get rid of the best manager in the world?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just think
I
there's no
I don't-
shot that he's comfortable. He has a team that he
Yeah.
loves. He's going to keep being able to get the players that he wants. He's got the youngsters coming through the squad that he wants. He has them running like a proper football club. I just think that there's nowhere else in the world that I think if Pep leaves, I think he's going international. I don't think he's going to go I don't think
Yeah.
he's going to go to another club. I think he's going to take over an international team.
So
I
then
think there's no
think
way.
You don't
No
think
way
there's
he
any
leaves.
like implications of them not winning the Champions League and him not winning that?
I mean, I think it's just what it is now. Like I
No,
think
I
it's
I know.
yeah. I mean, I think that's been
I
the
just think it'll be
expectation
more of a
forever. It's been the
legacy
same with
thing.
PSG, like. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like the Prem and winning the French league are two different things. Like he's had arguably the best team in the world, and will continue to have the best team in the world with his first year of Holland. Why would he ever give up like another
Getting to
5
coach
more
that
years
guy.
of Erling Haaland?
And Phil
Yeah.
Foden.
Yeah,
And Phil
I just
Foden. True,
think
like
that
all of
I
them.
mean, go down the list.
the
Name their
legacy of Pep
squad.
will only continue to get hurt if they don't win the Champions League.
I-
Like I
I
think
agree with
that,
that.
I think
I think
that
that's a
that's it.
fact.
Which is why I would say like if he leaves, it'll be him walking because I think it'll be like a pride thing that it's just not happening.
Are you saying
But
just
it'll
if they
be
get
really
knocked
interesting.
out,
Yeah.
or make it to the final, but so get knocked out
They-
anywhere?
let's say they lose in the quarters or something like that. Not go
Oof.
as far as they should.
I think
then
that
how
I
does
think
that
that's
escalate
more
if
incentive for
they-
him to come back.
See, I just
Mm.
all I'm still, and like I said, the only reason I brought this up was how serious my boss was when he was like,
And I know your
He's
boss
gone.
was
I'm
serious
like-
about not winning, like doesn't care about winning the Prem, wants to win the Champions League. But like, how does that escalate if they don't win the Premier League or the Champions League? Like they don't get a
Yeah.
trophy.
yeah.
I
I just
think,
all I
yeah.
know is one of the things he kept saying was the main reason they brought Pep in was to win the Champions League, and so
Yeah.
the fact that he hasn't done it, and if he doesn't do it again with the side that they have, they would not be too happy.
I mean, it's all relative. It's all
When you have Alien
Yeah,
as your striker,
it's-
Kevin De
yeah.
Bruyne as your center midfielder, Phil, like, yeah, you should probably.
I feel like we say this every year, but like I do feel like this year may be their best shot that they've had in. Like I think Holland gives them that killer instinct
That
up
edge.
top with any moment that. Who did they draw?
I have
I
no
don't
idea.
know.
I can look it up.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't,
It
frankly.
does
Really?
not matter.
Really doesn't matter.
No.
Bill Cruz. Anyway, that was a long-winded answer. Cap as fuck.
Cap as well.
I think
say,
there's
feel
some
like it
validity.
might all be Cap.
I think there's.
Oh,
I do think there's some validity. I don't think it's super far fetched. I think it would be the psychotic ownership group that comes down with a decision like that. But I don't think they're that rash. I don't think anything that he could do at this point in time would ruin it for him. I could see Henry's situation of him walking if they have
Yeah.
something super disappointing go on the rest of the season, then he would have some sort of action on that. But the guy's the best ever. I'll take it with
They,
the United States national team.
Let's go. They
Next
drew
up.
Leipzig. So they have RB Leipzig. I guess I
Timo.
didn't realize it, or maybe I forgot about this because it's just been so long since the draw happened. There's some crazy draws of the Champions League. PSG, Bayern, Dortmund,
playing
Chelsea,
Dortmund, yeah.
Liverpool, Real Madrid, Tottenham, Milan. Like this crazy games. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Champions League, that'd be nice.
But-
So fun.
important
you gotta-
games on
you gotta
Thursdays, guys.
You gotta drink it in
United,
when you can.
Barca.
Yeah.
You gotta eat it up when you can. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude.
It's nice. Wednesdays are so much better. All right, lads. Anyone else got anything else? We've covered about everything we could in the last week here. This is Mecca of Banter, and we are going to be signing off for this one. Always a good time, lads. Pleasure doing it with you.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Boys. Cheers. Hey, don't
Follow
forget
our
us on
socials.
follow us
Follow
on
our
social.
socials, Twitter,
Yep.
Instagram,
At-
TikTok,
At
Mecca
Mecca
of
of
Banter.
Banter. Yes,
Do
sir.
we want to? I maybe give everyone a little teaser for we have a guest next Monday. We won't say anything else after that, but we are bringing in a new guest to the Mecca of Banter, so be on the lookout for that.
Should have a few more in the coming months.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to see guests, shoot them in the comments on any of our socials or send them to us. If any of you guys want to come on, by all means, reach out. We like to talk shit.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
Yeah.
right,
Cheers,
y'all.
fellas.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheers, boys.
All right, cheers.